absolute chaos at Ibrox, the manager hunt takes a wild twist as Steven Gerrard edges closer to a shock return, with Rio Ferdinand claiming he's itching to come back. Gerrard dropped a bombshell in the interview. Meanwhile, Mcinnes resurfaces as a real option, with revelations that he once skipped training thinking he was Ibrox bound. Ex-Premier League voices are tearing into the Rangers squad and warning that hiring Danny Röhl could be the same disaster all over again. Over at Tottenham, there's major movement around Mikey Moore's future after weeks of criticism, and it's bad news for Rangers' own starlet Findlay Curtis. This one's packed with bombs. Stay locked in, it only gets heavier from here. Right, listen up. The circus surrounding the Ibrox dugout shows no signs of stopping, and now the latest name being thrown into the mix is Danny Röhl, the same lad who steadied the ship at crisis-hit Sheffield Wednesday and dragged them up into the top half of the championship last season. Fair play to him, that's no easy feat, but let's get one thing clear. This is Rangers, not some second-tier experiment. Röhl's just 36 years old, young, fresh ideas, full of promise. We've heard this tune before. Sound familiar? It's exactly what we were told about Russell Martin, and look how that panned out. One of the most uninspiring reigns in recent memory, and a squad that, let's be honest, looks like it's been built on wishful thinking and panic buys. Brian King, former Premier League scout, hasn't held back. He slammed the quality in the dressing room and made it clear another inexperienced coach is not what Rangers need. According to him, the club's in turmoil, the boardroom's a mess, and there's a real lack of quality running through the squad. Hard to argue when you've just watched a season of disjointed football and players shrinking when it matters most. Let's not kid ourselves. Bringing in Röhl now would be rolling the dice again. The same mistake. Promising manager, maybe. Right now? Absolutely not. Just like Martin, Röhl's only tasted management in the championship, and managing Sheffield Wednesday isn't the same as handling the pressure cooker that is Ibrox, where every match feels like life or death. He might be one for the future, but right now Rangers need a proven leader, someone with scars and medals, not another laptop manager with a good CV and no silverware. Are you really up for watching the board gamble again? Or is it finally time Rangers stopped chasing bright ideas and started acting like a proper club with serious ambitions? Right, here we go again. The name Mcinnes is back on the radar at Ibrox, and honestly, it's like deja vu, isn't it? Another managerial vacancy, and suddenly folk are whispering about Mcinnes as if the last decade of flirtation never happened. Now, to be fair, the man's earned the right to be mentioned. He started the season flying with hearts, sitting top of the table and looking every inch aside with purpose. But here's where it gets juicy. Greg Stewart, former Rangers and Aberdeen midfielder, dropped a wee gem this week. He said, when Mcinnes missed 2 days of training back at Aberdeen, the players genuinely thought he'd bolted for Govan. Imagine that. Bags packed, gone without a word, and only to end up staying put. Turns out he knocked Rangers back. Knocked us back. That's always stuck in the throat for some. The timing, the loyalty to Aberdeen, all well and good, but it didn't sit right with everybody wearing blue. And now, just when hearts are flying, we're meant to believe he'd abandon ship for a role that's turned into a poisoned chalice? Let's not forget, Mcinnes is no dafty. He knows what kind of mess he'd be walking into at Ibrox. Pressure from day one, a fractured squad, a restless support, a board that can't seem to pick a manager that fits. He's got Hearts looking like a proper unit, and genuinely has a shot at making history if he stays the course there. And here's another twist. Hearts themselves are relaxed about the whole thing, not even batting an eye at the rumors. That tells you one of two things. Either they know he's going nowhere, or they think Rangers won't have the nerve to ask again. Should Rangers even want a manager who's already turned them down once, or does that disloyalty tell you everything you need to know about whether he's the right man for Ibrox? Right, sit yourself down because this one's big, and it's got the whole of G51 talking. Steven Gerrard. Back to Rangers, it's on the table, and the noise is only getting louder. You know the story. Gerrard brought the title home in 2021, our first in a decade and a half. A proper statement. He didn't just stop the rot, smashed Celtic's stranglehold and gave us our pride back. Since then, let's not sugarcoat it, we've been drifting. And now, after Russell Martin's brief and embarrassing stint in charge ended with him being smuggled out of Falkirk like a man on the run, Gerrard's name is at the top of the list once again. Now, here's where it gets spicy. Rio Ferdinand interviewed Gerrard just days before all this kicked off, and the message was loud and clear. As Rio put it, he left me in no uncertain terms that he wants to be a manager. He's itching to get back in now. And then came the clincher. Rio said, "He never said this to me, but I personally think just the energy I felt in that room, if Rangers came calling, he'd go, or at least have that conversation." That's not rumor, that's not gossip. That's insight from someone who knows the man. Gerrard wants back in. And make no mistake, we need a lift. His numbers from his first spell are unreal. 64.8% win rate, over 2 points per game, and a team that conceded less than a goal a match. In Rangers history, he's 7th on the all-time list for win ratio, up there with giants like Bill Struth and Dick Advocaat. But here's the catch. Gerrard's now based in Bahrain, enjoying time with his family, and even said, "I've had 5 or 6 really interesting phone calls, but the timing hasn't been right. My daughter's just had a baby. I've just become a granddad." Still, he finished with this. "If the right call comes my way, the right club, the right challenge, I'll take that challenge on because it's in me. It's in me." You tell me that doesn't sound like a man who's just waiting on one call from Govan? All the boardroom's already moving. Andrew Kavanagh's flown into the UK for face-to-face talks. A decision's coming and fast. But here's what I want you to answer. Would bringing Gerrard back be a masterstroke to galvanize the club, or are you worried that the man who walked away mid-season in 2021 might do it again when the next shiny opportunity appears? Right, let's talk about Mikey Moore, the so-called wonder kid from Spurs who was meant to light up Ibrox. Instead, he's barely sparked a matchstick, 1 assist in 10 games, and that came back in August against Alloa Athletic, in a match where even the ball boys were bored. Since then, he's drifted through matches like a tourist on Sochi Hall Street. Plenty of movement, nay real direction. And if you saw the shambles against Falkirk, you'll know what I'm talking about. Chris Boyd nearly burst a blood vessel watching him get caught offside time and time again. He might be quick, but his football brain's still waiting to land in Govan. Now, folk were wondering if Tottenham might do us all a favour and recall him in January, but no. According to reports down south, Spurs and Thomas Frank have no immediate plans to bring him back. A few English championship clubs are sniffing about, but for now we're stuck with him. And here's where it gets worse, because while Moore continues to underwhelm, it's Rangers' own Findlay Curtis who's getting the raw deal. The lads bagged 3 goals in 9 appearances, scored a screamer against Panathinaikos, and saved our skin at St Mirren with a clutch equaliser, and yet just 35 minutes of league football all season. 35. Curtis has done everything right. Homegrown, hungry, delivers when called upon, but he couldn't get a look in under Martin because Moore was being shoved into the lineup like some loan deal obligation. Now, a new manager's on the way in, and this is where you need to start asking the real question. Should Rangers keep wasting minutes on a loanee who's shown nothing? Or is it time to give our own boy Curtis the run he's earned? Comment below what you think about the news. don't forget to leave. Like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.